Anthony Joshua didn't want to let anyone down when he agreed to fight late replacement Robert Helenius at London's O2 Arena on Saturday. Briton Joshua, 33, will face Finland's Helenius after Dillian Whyte failed a drugs test on Saturday. Finland's Helenius, 39, took the fight at less than a week's notice. I also looked at the undercard for a potential opponent before selecting Helenius. I know how much it means to them to compete, said Joshua. Speaking at Wednesday's news conference, the two-time world champion added, I didn't want to let anybody down. My coach, broadcaster, DAZN. It's kind of like a responsibility. I know late replacements aren't ideal. Another rock in my shoe, Joshua. Joshua shook hands with Helenius as the two boxers took their seats at the Pan Pacific London hotel in the heart of the city, meeting for the first time since the fight was announced on Monday morning. A long career will present these type of obstacles, but I've got to get used to them, Joshua said of the late change in opponent. It's just another rock in my shoe as I get to the top of the mountain. He returns to the O2 Arena after an underwhelming points victory over Jermaine Franklin at the venue in April, his first win since December 2020, having lost consecutive bouts to Alexander Usyk. After Whyte was withdrawn from the contest, several heavyweights, domestically and from across the globe, threw their names into the mix. The principal story remains the same, worry about myself, he said, adding, it'll be silly to underestimate Helenius. I've got to take him deadly serious. Credit to him, he's coming to roll the dice, he wants to win. Helenius got the nod ahead of Agit Kabayel, with the German's demands too high according to promoter Eddie Hearn. He has won 32 fights with 4 losses, including a points defeat by Whyte in 2017 and a first-round knockout loss to American Deontay Wilder, a potential opponent for Joshua next, in October. I've been chasing the world championship for 15 years, Helenius said. When you get this big of an opportunity, you can't let it slip. I'll give everything in my power to win this fight. The 6 feet 6 inches heavyweight will compete for the second time within a week when he faces Joshua this weekend after beating Mika Mielanen in the third round in Finland on Saturday. He was told about an approach from Matchroom Boxing as he returned to the dressing room. This offer came 5 minutes after my fight. I was going on vacation with family, but not anymore. Here we are, he said. News of another failed drugs test, not for the first time, hit the credibility of the sport this past week. Whyte insists he is innocent and more details will emerge in the coming weeks and months, but for now the focus is on two-time champion Joshua. The past few days have been frantic for all those involved, not just the fighters. New artwork, banners and promotional material were printed overnight and plastered across the plush events room at Pan Pacific London. It may not be the fight most wanted, but the interest is there. It has added a different level of intrigue. Joshua looked relaxed, but the pressure on him is huge, arguably bigger than if he were facing Whyte. A lucrative fight against Deontay Wilder is in the pipeline, mooted for Saudi Arabia early next year. For him to convince the boxing world he is still an elite contender in the division, and can contend with hard-hitting Wilder, he needs to not only beat Helenius, but beat him in emphatic style. Wilder produced a demolition job on the Finn 10 months ago, stopping him within 3 minutes. Bettering that will be difficult, but a stoppage win is a must for Joshua.